Hi, we're here today with ParisianVibe in partnership with Mubi to speak with Manon about La Nouvelle Vague. My name is Stéphanie Delpon. I am an art director and a writer, and we'll speak about, the movies we love from La Nouvelle Vague.
So welcome to Ciné Image. We're in this beautiful poster shop here in the center of Paris. It's a legendary place for every film lover here. I'm myself a film lover because I'm a filmmaker, I'm a screenwriter, I'm a film director, and I graduated from La Fémis in Paris, the National French Film School. And Nouvelle Vague influenced both of us a lot, so we have a lot to say about this.
Mubi is a curated streaming service, a place to watch beautiful, interesting, incredible cinema. Every day Mubi premieres a new film from iconic directors to emerging authors. There is always something new to discover. You can try Mubi free for 30 days at mubi.com/ParisianVibe. That's mubi.com/ParisianVibe for a whole month of great cinema for free. For me, La Nouvelle Vague was a part of the history of cinema, but it was really also a part of my history, of my personal journey. I remember when I discovered the cinema, I was in my 20s and I was completely struck by the poetry I saw. For me, it was literally literature in motion. And when I heard completely changed my way of living, speaking.
And your style, right? Your clothes.
Yeah,
and
clothes. It's interesting why you would like to, when you see these movies, you want to be you two inside the film, like live their life, speak their poetical language. You would like to be stylish like they are. You would like to have those.
Yeah, I'm gonna show you something because I have that here. I have a beautiful picture. So actually, it's really interesting because this is a picture of Bout de Souffle. Bout de Souffle is breathless in English, and this is one of the very famous movies of the Nouvelle Vague. And if we talk about style, we can talk about Jean Seberg here. Her style was really, it's
something
very typical of the 1960s, but with the short hair, coupe à la garçonne, like we say in French. She was really stylish with the little flats and the dress like this. It looked really free, and she looked like a free young woman in those clothes. When you compare with the cinema from the 1950s, where they were wearing so much makeup and they had really long hair, the hair was really done and the clothes were really tight, and she looks like she could run a marathon or something. She can run after him because he's escaping the police and she's going with him, so it's kind of a rebellious film. And I think it's a really good style, actually.
And I know you're really more influenced by Belmondo. Why were you so appalled by him?
Yeah, so the thing is with the Nouvelle Vague, what it did to the history of cinema, it's suddenly everything was so, let's say, it was so natural suddenly, They had smaller cameras and they had smaller sound devices, and they could go film outside on the streets, and so that made a huge difference. Also, they decided to film their friends, and so Godard and Truffaut just filmed their friends, people they would see at cafes and not just huge stars. And Belmondo was like the guy next door, but he had that charm, that Parisian charm, and I really identified with him actually more than with the girls because he was so adventurous. And I thought, I'd like to be that kind of people in my life.
Wow.
It's the great kiss between Jean Seberg and Belmondo. What I want to say about this film, it was really important for the Nouvelle Vague because you have Jean-Luc Godard, which is one of the biggest film directors of the Nouvelle Vague, and it's written by Francois Truffaut, which is another very important film director of the Nouvelle Vague, and it's produced by Georges de Beauregard. And this producer is the guy who had the money, and without him, there would be no Nouvelle Vague at all. He is a really amazing person who trusted Godard, Godard, Truffaut, to make these very crazy movies that nobody had seen before. That going into the streets, filming their friends, having almost no script and just very free dialogues. And this guy said, yeah, I'm gonna give you a few millions to do that, which is crazy. Maybe you'd like to tell me a little bit how you were influenced by the Nouvelle Vague yourself?
There is this La Nouvelle Vague trap where you can completely forget the frontier, the limit between fiction and reality. And I remember I would have a boyfriend at that time, Paul, and sometimes I would literally say lines from Le Mépris. And yeah.
Like which one, for instance?
Like, do you like my face? No. No, but you know, and I could nearly hear the music of Deleuze, of La Nouvelle Vague, of Le Mépris just behind us. So I never had this with other cinema after, the fact that you would like to become yourself a character. But yeah, you have to be careful with La Nouvelle Vague. It can really absorb you nearly.
La Nouvelle Vague was also a time where everything became much more natural. So it's funny that now it seems artificial to us, but it was really a time where the dialogues were written the way people would talk. The fact that technically it was so light to, like all these things were so easy to carry, like Rohmer. Eric Rohmer is one of the big directors of the Nouvelle Vague, and he said something that I love. He said, you take your small car and you open the trunk and you put your camera, your lamps, and your sound all in the car and you make a movie. One car. So when you see that usually you need trucks and trucks and trucks to make a film.
So light.
He changed everything, and he did La Collectionneuse like this. La Collectionneuse is one of the very beautiful movies of the Nouvelle Vague, and I know you actually love it.
I love, yeah.
You want to tell us a little bit about it?
No, it's me. Like, I'm a writer, so I'm obsessed with characters, and sometimes I relate so much to characters. I become them, you know. So I remember I would become Heidi.
Ah oui.
And I would, be a collectionneuse
of men.
Not men, but maybe men too, but like collections of moments. She inspired me. And also the style. I know, like the bikini, I remember the bikini she has. Like, is it a panty or bikini? I don't know. But I love like how she would
shorty or something.
Yeah, that's shorty.
You know, Truffaut and Godard and Rohmer and Rivette, they were all writers.
So naturally they speak like
so they
like
speak
a book.
like that.
Yeah.
Because they all met, they were all writing, they were film critics at the Cahiers du Cinéma. Truffaut and Godard and all, you know, the crew, Rivette, they were film critics at the Cahiers du Cinéma, and the Cahiers du Cinéma supported the Nouvelle Vague very much so. So they came from writing and they came from analyzing films. And what they saw, those young men and women, right? There was a few of them, especially Agnes Varda, but we're going to talk about her later. Yeah. So they were young and they were writing about films, and they said, there's what we call le cinéma de papa. And le cinéma de papa, like daddy's movies, they were very stiff. Yeah. They were really like, I opened the door and, you killed my wife and stuff like that. And suddenly Godard and Rohmer were like, hey, why don't we talk the way we talk? Yeah. Why don't we talk about the things we love, like books and poetry and Paris and love? We just introduced you to the Nouvelle Vague and to its main actors and directors and its style, and now I guess it's time for us to move on to the movie recommendations. So we're gonna talk about a few films that you can find in the movie list. What would be your first film?
Okay, for me, the first film I discovered was Le Mépris, the great way to start because it summarizes all. The decorum of Le Mépris is striking. It's shot in Capri. You have those beautiful shots. You have the music from Deleuze run in your head, and I think Bardot is completely mythic and iconic in this movie. And the contrast she brings to the character, so she can be a mean lover and she can be tender, she can be like a childish pest, and also a very strong woman.
And it has arguably maybe one of the most interesting openings ever, right? It's this, the credits of the film are told by Jean-Luc Godard himself. So you will hear Jean-Luc Godard est à la réalisation. Georges de Beauregard à la production. And it's really famous for this, with this fabulous music, right? And the camera is moving into the shot. It's absolutely stunning. And it's also one of the first films in the history of cinema that would show the cameras and the team. Yes, Varda she's the lady of the Nouvelle Vague, right? So this is Cléo de 5 à 7 is a groundbreaking film in the history of cinema because, first of all, it was a female character. It was the inner life of a female character, which you don't see that much, at that time. And this lady is moving through Paris, and it's kind of like a sentimental geography of, what's happening in her head. We don't know what's happening, and I'm not going to spoil it, but you will watch the movie, and at the end you will know. And it's extremely emotional, really beautiful film, and you see Paris a lot in it, the Paris of the, late 50s. So it's one of the early films of the Nouvelle Vague, and it's a really great movie by Agnes Varda, so I recommend this strongly. What's your next recommendation? Who was the partner of Agnes Varda, the husband of Agnes Varda, created a number of fabulous musicals, and this is definitely a recommendation, I would say. Les Parapluies de Cherbourg is a film, I can't watch it without crying. It's really, really emotional. Yeah. With Catherine Deneuve, of course, so unforgettable, and the whole film is sung. Do you know the film?
Yeah, I know him. But it's funny because when you think Nouvelle Vague, you think Godard, you think Truffaut, you think Rohmer, you don't think of Deneuve, right?
Yes, that's right. But people forget him.
Yeah.
What's your next?
Which one? Yeah, we can talk about visibly. Me, it's more like it's the love I have for Jean-Pierre Léaud, I think he, when I was younger, when I was introduced to Nouvelle Vague, I was more empathizing towards those feminine characters, and the more I grew, I think I became more like a caricature of Jean-Pierre Léaud, even like the way I dress. But yeah, I have a lot of tenderness for him.
Les Quatre Coups was also one of the seminal films of the Nouvelle Vague. François Truffaut actually narrated his own childhood, so it's a really very emotional film as well.
Yeah, I love her also in Jules et Jim. I think.
Jules et Jim is a great recommendation.
Yeah. I think this one is obvious. Yeah.
Yeah, Jules et Jim, François Truffaut. It's this love triangle, right? And two men who love a woman. I mean, this is also the sexual liberation, because the Nouvelle Vague was definitely going hand in hand with the sexual liberation of the 60s.
Yeah.
But it's gorgeous, and there's this great song, and it's the love between a French woman, a French man, and a German man, which, post-war was also a way to reconcile countries. So it's a very beautiful film. Because they all love each other in a way, right? Even the two men they're best friends. So. Yeah,
and it's friends so much. Like when you see this love triangle, then you see it again in the Dreamers from Bertolucci. Recently, I've seen Synonym from Nadav Lapid. It's also, I don't know. It's for me, it's like they put the touchstone, right, of this love triangle. I think it's
and also the style. The movies you mentioned are truly inspired by the Nouvelle Vague. And you can tell that there's a before and after the Nouvelle Vague, right? There's really a before, which is like films made in studio with very heavy cameras, with much lighting, and sometimes the sound was a problem because you had to refresh the cameras with big ventilators. And then you have the Nouvelle Vague with the small cameras and like being in the street and just have natural conversations in cafes or by the beach or whatever. So there's definitely that style, and I think you would say Synonym. Synonyms by Nadav Lapid, which is an Israeli filmmaker, but it's set in Paris. And this young man is discovering Paris nowadays, and it's the same, like walking through the streets and having this beautiful language, right? This poetry in the language.
Yeah. No, I hope, you were inspired by La Nouvelle Vague as we were, explore yourself in this In this movement, I think it's also really a personal journey. It's like how your personal history meets this movement. Let's tell us if you have any reaction of how La Nouvelle Vague transformed your life or in any way, or helped you forge your character or see life in a new way. I don't know.
And if you like this piece about the history of cinema and the style of cinemas and stuff, please don't hesitate to let us know in the comments so that we know what we can cover next, and maybe we can explore more film stories with you.
Thank you so much for
watching.
Thank you. Mubi is a curated streaming service, a place to watch beautiful, interesting, incredible cinema. Every day, Mubi premiere a new film from iconic directors to emerging authors. There is always something new to discover on Mubi. With Mubi, each and every film is hand-selected. It's like your own personal film festival, streaming anytime, anywhere. You can try Mubi free for 30 days at mubi.com/ParisianVibe. That's mubi.com/ParisianVibe for a whole month of great cinema for free.